And it was just another day, yeah.
Just another day.
Until I went to the movies, and now it's a movie Chewsday. A movie Chewsday. Until a movie Chewsday.
Yellow, and welcome to Movie Chewsday. Movie Chewsday is where I go to the movies to catch a flick. After watching the movie, I come back, sit in front of the camera, and I tell you whether the movie was good, whether it was bad, whether you should go and see it, or whether you should just sit at home and wait for it to come out on cable. So today, I'm going to talk about The Visit. If you haven't seen The Visit yet, and you're kind of on the fence on whether you want to or not, I will do you a favor and I'll read you the little mini review I did on Twitter, which is spoiler free. So just hold on for a second. So on Twitter, I said The Visit had a good story with a powerful message. I was expecting creepy horror, but it felt more like a comedic thriller. All right. So basically, that's what gets your jollies off. You know, you want to see the flick, you know, go and watch it and come back later, because now I'm going to go more in depth with the tweet. But just based off of that tweet alone, if you're still on the fence on whether you should see it or not, I'd recommend waiting for it to come out on video and just rent it. You know, that's my personal opinion. But if you don't know what to do yet, turn this off, because now I'm going to go into the tweet and I'm going to get into spoiler territory. I got my notes here. So if you ever see me looking down, it's because I'm trying to figure out where the hell I was, or, you know, so I don't get off track and I'm not just like, So, yeah. All right. So, spoilers are starting now. So, that was your chance. Get the hell out. So, going off of the tweet, the story. I thought the story of the movie was good. Even though I saw the twist fairly early, because the story does a really good job at, like, building up to what happened, like, what the big mystery is, because it starts out where the mom talks about how she got pregnant at a very young age, and she ran off with her boyfriend or her, you know, her baby daddy, and she never talked to her parents again. Never even like saw them, like, you know what I mean? It was like years. And whenever somebody tries to ask what happened, nobody wants to talk about what happened. The grandparents don't want to talk about it, the mom doesn't want to talk about it. And when they got to the part where the kids actually go visit the grandparents, and they Skype their mom to let them know that they got there safe, and the mom was like, "Oh, you know, how are they? Like, let me see them. Like, let me see what they look like." And she was like, "No, never mind. I don't want to do that." In that moment, in that scene, I was just like, "Okay, I wonder if the twist is that isn't really the kids' grandparents, you know?" And then with the grandma like messing around with the camera and stuff, like blotting it out so like the recipient on the other side can't see, like, I was like, okay, yeah, that's definitely what the twist is. Because you know, with M. Night Shyamalan movies, there's always a twist. I mean, especially when it comes to horror movies by M. Night Shyamalan, there's always a twist, always. So you're always looking for it. So like, I saw that fairly early. But the overall story of kids going to visit their grandparents who isn't actually their grandparents is creepy as hell. That's creepy for a mom. That's creepy for kids to think about. It's like, that's something I can get with, okay? So that's why I thought the story was good. The powerful message was, or that I got from the movie, was stop hating. You know, let go of hate. Don't hold on to hate. I'm sure we all got people in our lives who could use that advice. You know, I can use that advice. I don't hate all the time. I don't hold grudges all the time, but you know, when I do, that is some words of wisdom to go back to, is just don't hang on to hate. And I also felt like that was M. Night Shyamalan's way of trying to get the audience to like sympathize with them, where it's like, because you know, with M. Night Shyamalan movies in the past, they're hit or miss. Like, there's good ones and then there's bad ones. I know for a fact that after Avatar, the last Airbender movie, I was like, dude, M. Night Shyamalan is officially on my shit list now. You know what I mean? And I felt like that was his way of trying to communicate to the audience to say, like, hey guys, like, I know that I kind of messed up back in the day, you know, but try not to hold on to that and give me another chance. You know, I'm trying to make things right. So just don't write me off all the way. So that's what I kind of felt like that message was about at the end of the movie. And because this is probably one of M. Night Shyamalan's most straightforward movies, where like the revelations of why everything is happening or why everything happened is pretty straightforward. Like it does a good job at building up and trying to tease like what exactly is going on. Like sometimes you think it's aliens, when the grandma's going off about aliens living under the water. And sometimes you think it's like some cult activity because with the mom being pregnant, like maybe the parents wanted her to like abort the kid or something, or use the kid in a sacrificial or a sacrifice or some kind of ritual. You know what I mean? So like there's all that kind of stuff that goes around in the movie as they kind of tease that to what is going on. As far as like the scares, like when I said I was expecting creepy horror, there are definitely creepy scenes in the movie, but it's just the climax of them is what ruins it. Where it's like you go from 1 minute, like as they build the tension, like you're kind of like freezing up in your seat, like what the hell is going on, But then it's like it immediately cuts to something humorous or just something calm or whatever, like when the kids are playing hide and go seek under the house. And the grandma is like crawling around on all fours, running after them, talking about, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you. And she's got her hair draped over her face and stuff. It's like, that shit'll creep you the hell out. You know what I mean? But then like the scene immediately ends with the kids and everybody crawling out from under the house, and the grandma comes and like dusts herself off. It's like, oh, everybody just come on in the house. I baked some cookies, and just walks off of the scene, and and got like a wedgie and stuff, like with her butt hanging out. And it's like you just started laughing. It's like you went from this like really intense scene to just like flat out laughing. Another example is when all the stuff that happens at night, where the grandma's like crawling around the house on all fours, and she's running with her hands behind her back and stuff, and it's like the scene ends with them just closing the door and going to sleep, and it goes to the next scene, and like the little boy is making fun of her, where he's like imitating how she was running around the house and stuff, And I just felt like it would have been scarier if there would have been more danger to the grandma at night. Like instead of the grandpa just saying, oh, hey, like, we're old people and around here, bedtime is at 9:30. It's like, that's like, you're like, yeah, like that's how grandparents are. That's how old people are. Is like they go to bed early. So it's like, there's nothing really creepy about that. Now, if you say, hey guys, okay, we're old and around here, bedtime is at 9:30. And also make sure that for no circumstances whatsoever, you come out of the room after 9:30 and keep the door locked. Then you start like building into some things where it's like, okay, something is wrong in this house. Like, why the hell does the door need to stay locked? How come I can't go outside the door? Make it to where the grandma's trying to get inside the room. And they only did that scene once. And even that was just like really just anticlimactic, because it was like, she got the camera, pointed at the door, and got a knife, and just kind of banged on the door a little bit, and then walked away and went to bed. Or I think she put the camera back or something like that. But either way, it was like, there was no real, like, danger there, There was a scene where the little girl wanted to go and get cookies in the middle of the night, and she, like, films the grandma, like, vomiting onto the floor. And then the scene ends and it goes to the next scene and it's daylight and everything's all calm and everybody's baking and having fun and stuff and cracking jokes and rapping. And it was just, that was pretty much how the whole movie was. And then the overall like revelation of what's happening like wasn't that great either. It was like, well, what's wrong with grandma? Is she possessed? And it's like no, she suffers from this mental illness called sundowning, which I've never even heard of, But it's like, it's interesting, it's fascinating. I looked it up a little bit on the internet and I'm like, all right. And you kind of just feel bad because it's like earlier in the movie you were laughing and being creeped out at all the stuff that she was doing, but then you find out what's wrong with her and you're like, oh man, like that's I feel sorry for her. Like I feel bad now, like that I was laughing and that I thought something was wrong with her, like she can't help that. So there's like that kind of revelations and stuff was just like, at the end of the movie, I just felt like, I was like, I wasn't too, like, I didn't even know how to feel. That was a problem as well. It's like, I didn't know whether I should be scared or whether I should feel bad. Like, the big mystery with the mom and leaving the parents was just, you figure like there's cult activity going on. You figure that, that aliens maybe like, abducted her parents and replaced them with alien parents, you know, and that's why she ran and never talked to him again. And it's like, no, it was just we got into a fight. I hit my mom, my dad hit me, and I left with my boyfriend. I never saw them again and never talked to him ever. And it was just like, when they did that, I was just like, is that it? That was the big deal, you know? I mean, not to say that domestic violence isn't a big deal, but it's just like, come on, man. Like, I was expecting some hard hitting shit, you know, to be going down. You know, I was expecting aliens to come out of the water. But you know, like that's just what how I felt after the movie was over. I was just like, you know, I didn't even know what to feel. I was like, but I could definitely say that I didn't feel like the movie was bad. You know, I wouldn't go that far. I would definitely say that it could have been better. There was definitely things that they could have did better, but it was like, I don't know, man. And that's why I said just rent the movie. Like, wait for it to come out on video and rent it. I wouldn't recommend going to the theater to see it. But things that caught me by surprise, I mean, like the whole found footage thing. I'm not gonna hate on the found footage stuff. I mean, it is getting a little too much with all the movies, but you know, whatever. Like they had their reasons. Like the little girl was a film buff and she wanted to make a documentary and stuff, so that makes sense. The one thing that did not make sense in the movie, there were two scenes. When the kids were on their way to grandma's house or their grandparents' house, on the train, the conductor or ticket checker, whatever the hell, like asked for their ticket, and he was like, "Oh, you know, is that a camera? You guys aspiring filmmakers?" And he breaks into this monologue, right? The same thing happened later in the movie where there's someone from the mental hospital who came to check on the grandparents because the real grandparents volunteered at the mental hospital, right? So like he comes to check on the grandparents because they haven't showed up to volunteer for a while. And he was like, "Oh, is that a camera? You guys aspiring filmmakers? You know, I wanted to get into acting once." And he busted into a monologue. And I could have sworn, like I could be wrong, but I could have sworn that he did the same exact monologue that the guy did on the train. And like when those scenes happened, I was like, what is going on? You know, like just trying to figure out what the hell was happening. And they never explained it. At least I don't think they did. And, you know, I don't know what the overall message was with that, but it was like, dude, like explain that scene, because you explain everything else in the movie, explain that, and they didn't. So it just kind of like, that's still like on my brain till this day. Like, and that's one of the reasons why I'm just like, I was like, oh, forget that movie. I don't even want to talk about that movie. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. But anyway, also I will say that the kids were not annoying. That was like a breath of fresh air, because if you've seen horror movies, the kids are usually scary as shit, or they're annoying as hell, or they're all wrapped up into one ball and they're doing all that crap, you know. And I didn't get this with this movie. Like I thought the kids were very comical. I related to them a little bit, or I empathize with them. So there was that. So I didn't find them annoying. Even the little boy rapping, like I didn't find annoying. I thought he was cool. He wasn't a good rapper, but it was fine that he tried, you know, and he was funny on occasion and stuff. But yeah, man. So that's pretty much what I meant by the tweet. That's pretty much movie Chewsday. Like I said, The Visit, not a bad movie. It was okay. I wouldn't recommend going to the theater to see it. That's if you are going into that movie like I did, where you're expecting like this horror, like this new horror classic, like It Follows. But you know, you're not gonna get that. I didn't get that. At least, you know, like I said, I felt it was more like a thriller or even a drama when you bring in like all the real world shit, like domestic violence and everything, and you know, people with mental illness who like kill their kids, like, you know, and they're not even aware of it, or you know, they can't really sympathize with it because they're mentally ill, you know, like, so they kind of can't help it. So like it's just a whole bunch of mixed emotions that I had when I got out of the movie, and that just didn't really sit well with me. So yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna cut it off right there. You know where to find me. I mean, if you've seen my other content that I've put on here, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at the Chewels. If you like art, check out Bad Art on my channel on YouTube. That's where I draw stuff and I talk about stuff. I think it's pretty entertaining. So if you want to check that out, go ahead, see my other work. Whether you agree or disagree with me, like put it in the comments below or tweet me or send me an email at chewels85@gmail.com and let's have a discussion about the movie. Like maybe you guys saw something that I didn't, so you know let's do that. But either way, that's gonna be about it for me. I don't have a cool sign off like I do with Bad Art, so I'm just gonna intro my outro or outro my intro. I'm gonna play the intro that I have for this video for my outro because I don't. Bye guys. Bye. See ya. See you later. Thank you. Thank you for watching. All that good stuff.
And it was just another day, yeah.
Just another day.
Until I went to the movies, now it's a movie Chewsday.
Just another
A
day.
movie Chewsday. Until a movie Chewsday.